Welcome back to another episode of Our Community. I'm your host, local real estate agent Alfredo Diamond. I'm here with a special guest, co-owner of Mezzo Solutions, Patrick Ripberger. Welcome, Patrick.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
Hey, thanks for being here. I'm going to jump right into it, Patrick. Tell us about Mezzo Solutions. What is Mezzo Solutions?
All right, yeah, thanks. So Mezzo Solutions is an organization that my wife and I founded a few years ago here in Richmond, Indiana. We got the idea for it when we were actually sitting at Fifth Street Bagel having some coffee in the morning. And we were talking about how it would be great if we had the opportunity to provide mental health education and support to the teams that we were supervising within nonprofits here in the community. But as you may know, as a manager, you don't always have time to do that. Mm-hmm. So what we wanted to do was create an opportunity to provide that education on a large scale. So we decided to form Mezzo Solutions, and at the core of it, we wanted to teach the concept of show up to help to individuals in the helping profession. And when I say helping profession, I mean people like social workers, human service professionals, people in the service industry. Okay. Looking at government workers, looking at anyone who has to go to work every day with a kind of aligned purpose to serve. So helping those individuals.
What do you mean by show up to help?
All right. Yeah, definitely. So show up to help is an idea that had been kind of rolling around in my mind since I was a teenager, which is something that I started to develop just from what I learned from my own parents about how to engage with your community and engage with other people. Mm-hmm. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and he spent a lot of his extra time outside of his day-to-day job helping other veterans. So he had this really strong sense of brotherhood when it came to serving those who had served. And I was usually kind of dragged along with them to help with these adventures. We spent a lot of time in kitchens, cooking large meals for veterans, a lot of fundraisers and things. And from him, I really believe I learned this idea of show up to help. Okay. And originally it just meant show up and help. Yeah. But as my father got older, I started to see how when you don't take care of yourself and all you do is pour out of your own cup into someone else's, a lot of negative health outcomes can head your way. So as I got older, the mantra kind of became show up to help as if you're going to be a helper, which is important for us to have helpers in the world, you got to take care of yourself. Yeah,
lead from the front, be an example.
Exactly. Wow. Exactly.
That's powerful, man. Yeah. I love that. Where exactly are you located?
So we're located here in Richmond, Indiana on Main Street. So we're
what's your address?
It's 814 East Main Street. Okay. It's in the Richmond Main Street Resource Center.
Patrick, what made you and your wife decide to start your business here in our community?
Right. So we've been planted here in this community. Megan, my wife and co-founder of Mezzo, she was born and raised here in Richmond. I'm kind of a transplant from the faraway land of Connorsville, so a few towns over. But I've been here for over 10 years. So 10 years, and I've worked primarily in nonprofit organizations that were focused on serving individuals who need some mental health support. So all I know really in the professional world is nonprofits and serving individuals who serve. And all of my jobs have been here in Wayne County. And I found it a great place to kind of grow a business, but also grow a dream for what we envisioned.
I'm so excited for you, man. You just seem like you're just a wonderful person and giving back and wanting to see the good others do better and better with themselves. So that's amazing. I love that. So speaking of your business, so people admire and want to start a business and it looks good on the outside, but everybody has a story. What's your story? I mean, what challenges have you faced? How'd you overcome those challenges? How'd you get to where you are right now?
Right. So, I would have to say that one of the most helpful things that we had starting our business was a lot of mentors to lean back on. Mm-hmm. We were lucky to find a lot of good organizations to align with and work with. Mm-hmm. We actually started the organization with no seed money. So we were able to pay for our filing for our LLC with our first real gig or service that we provided. The next gig paid for our first printer so we could stop printing at UPS. And from there, we just kept building up, and we've been able to be a debt-free company from the beginning, just by slowly building it up and making some good strategic moves when it comes to how we run the business. But now we went from having one office in our current building that we share with some other tenants to having 3 offices, and actually adding on a contract worker to help us with some of the mental health services we're providing.
You said something that's very powerful that stuck out to me. I'm a business owner, and starting my business, one thing that I was conscientious of was my budget starting out. I see so many people that jump out, they want to go immediately go try and take out a loan or use an LLC to try. It doesn't really work like that.
Right.
So tell me, why was it so important for you to start out and not have a lot of overhead, a lot of debt?
Right. So I would have to say the core of it is I don't really come from any kind of financial backing. My life's kind of a fresh start. I was on my own when I was 16 and started to build up my assets and what I have from that age. And with that, I guess, to kind of elaborate, I lost my mother and my father when I was 16.
Wow.
So I was out with my older brother, living in an apartment, after being evicted from our family home because we didn't, know how to pay a mortgage when we were just kids.
Right.
So from there, I just had this mentality of, I don't have much, but I can make it work. Wow. And then also I think paired working with nonprofits, I was used to working on a shoestring budget when it came to a business. So I kind of knew how to make it run when there wasn't any money. Yeah. So I think that really helped with that model.
You got firsthand experience. And it's just amazing things that we go through in life, take us down certain paths, and then, all of a sudden you're in a role you have now where you can help others. So talk about that. That's a tough thing. You lost both your parents at 16.
Yeah.
How did you get through? How did you get to, move on? Continue with your life? How did that go?
Yeah, no. It was a long process. I definitely struggled with mental health struggles, and I experienced firsthand what it's like to have that extreme loneliness, that anxiety, that stress. It actually led to me dropping out of high school. Wow. And here I sit today with a master's in public health, just thinking about how I had to keep moving forward, and just that mantra kind of rolling around my head of show up to help. Yeah. And just like, I gotta take care of myself so I can take care of the family and take care of essentially my community that I was able to fall back on that helped lift me up.
We share some common things. My father would always tell me, that stuck in my mind, and it still does today, take care of business first, then play. Don't play and then do business. Take care of your business first. Right. And that sticks with me every day. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you got your master's degree. Let's backtrack. So high school, where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to college?
Right. So I took a stint at Connersville Middle School. Okay. That lasted until I think about maybe a little past freshman year. And then I left there and I decided to kind of find myself for a bit. I worked as a freelance writer, and I helped kind of ghostwrite some books and things. Because I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. I thought that'd be a good way to pay the bills. Didn't make that much money at it at all, And from there, I had a friend connect me to the idea of working in emergency medicine. So I became an EMT. I went to an academy. I learned a lot there that I still use today in a lot of the classes I teach, and not the medical side, but just the theories of if you're working in the back of an ambulance, you got to make sure you know what you're doing. Because if you get in the way, someone can get hurt. If you don't know how to help someone properly, if you work out of your scope of practice, somebody can get hurt. And I translate that to when I work with human service professionals now to, hey, stay in your scope of practice. There's time to learn new ways of helping people, but you really got to make sure that you are doing what you know. And not just guessing, because you gotta really help people when they're in these difficult moments. They're there with you. They want your help to walk through life, but you got to make sure that you're showing up to help with your knowledge as well.
Right. Wow.
Right. And then from there, I went to Ivy Tech, got my associates in general studies. After I kind of bounced around, there was some criminal justice, there was some medical assisting, there was some human services professional that I was looking at. But one day my advisor was like, "Hey, like you have a lot of credits. Have you heard of general studies?" And I was like, "Okay, I could dig that."
Yeah, to get you out of here.
Exactly.
I've been down that. Yeah,
I get it. And at that time, I was working full time in community mental health, and I was a manager of a unit that worked with children and families who were experiencing mental challenges. So that was a lot of great experience. And then I went over to IU East, got my bachelor's in psychology, and then I went up to Purdue and got my master's in public health.
Wow, man, good for you. That's amazing. And it's just, I talk about it to the youth and things, and it's just amazing that the experiences that we have take us down certain paths. And finally it clicks for us. Like I didn't know really what I wanted to be, what I mean? But finally just certain experiences start clicking for me. I'm like, man, I like that. I like this. I really like this position. So what was that moment for you where you're like, I got it. This is me right here.
Right. Well, actually it was a supervisor that I had who I didn't see eye to eye with. And if she hears this, she's probably laughing right now because she knows who she is because I've had this conversation with her. But she told me one day, maybe you should look at working in public health. Maybe you should explore this idea because you want to make a big impact in the community. You want to work on these big community initiatives. Maybe you should look at public health. And I'd never really heard of a degree path in public health because my original thought was I'm going to become a therapist and I'm going to do, counseling for people. But she saw kind of what I was interested in and gave me that idea. And I was like, well, I should maybe look at it. Yeah. Wasn't happy about it because I didn't want to do it at the beginning. But
she saw something in you.
Yeah. But she was right. And she knows she was right. So she's probably smiling now.
That's amazing. Man, that's awesome, Patrick. So we're going to go into a segment, have a little fun. I'm not sure if you've seen this segment online yet or not, but just kind of, we call it the Rose City Hot and Ready, Cold and Steady.
Okay.
All right. So just basically, I'm going to shout out a couple different, sentences to you or topics like favorite park, et cetera, favorite piece of place, and kind of let us know what comes to mind and why. Okay.
Okay.
Down?
All right.
Ready? Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So favorite park.
Ooh, Glen Miller.
Why?
I like that there's trails in it now that you can go take a little hike behind the one of the bench areas on the side. I think it's like next to the playground towards the back, but they have some trails now that you can take a hike in.
Okay, cool. You mentioned a couple different local colleges. So we got, I think of Earlham, Ivy Tech, IU East comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Which one comes to mind real quick? Oh,
Ivy Tech.
Why?
I'm an adjunct there now with the human services, and they helped me get my start. They actually they directed me when I first walked into Ivy Tech. Like I said, I was a high school dropout. I didn't have a high school degree, and they said, "Hey, go get your GED real quick down the street at Richmond Education Center." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go do this." But they still let me enroll, and they welcomed me in, and they really helped me get that start with higher education.
Wow. Shout out Ivy Tech there.
Yep.
So if you could tell, if you've got someone that one of your friends is relocating to or thinking about relocating to Richmond area, and you're like, hey, come on into town, and they're like, hey, Patrick, what's a good place? What's a good night look like for us to go on a date with my spouse? Mm-hmm. What does that perfect night look like? Where would you recommend for them to go?
Man, if you're looking for food, I would say Taitara. That's probably the hidden gem here in Richmond. Taitara is amazing. Or Gulzars, if you like that type of food. They have a good buffet on the weekend too. Just saying, that's pretty good.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Had a little fun there. So, what's one? We're shifting gears here. So, what's one thing about our community that you would share with someone looking to relocate here?
I would say that if you are interested in joining a community where you can find a place to not just plant your roots, but also find a passion, to work on different initiatives, this is the place that you can do it. If you're interested in social causes, there's tons of those you can get behind. If you're interested in helping build up a community, this is the place you can come because we're always looking for innovative ways to help improve really the I don't know how to put it. We're always looking for ways to
our local presence.
We're always looking for ways to improve just the experience for people, I think, in the community.
I agree with you there. It's a great way to put it. So just going down, man, you might sign up to be my co-host or something because you just lead me right into this next. So you think about local business and growth, education, employment in mind. Where would you like to see our community within the next 5 years?
Well, I think my question might be a little selfish when it comes to my industry, but I would really like it to be a place for continued education for people who are looking to be in the helping profession. And what I mean by that is it'd be great if we were able to host conferences here that look at educating employers, but also people who are in the helping profession to do their work, but at a higher level, learn new techniques. When we're looking at the helping profession, there's a lot of conferences in Dayton, a lot of conferences in Indianapolis, all over the state, and a lot of the professionals here have to travel around. Okay. But I feel like we have so many universities here and auditoriums that this could be a hub for continued education to help us. And even outside of the mental health world, I don't want to be super selfish, but we have the opportunity to host educational opportunities to help us all become empowered and then just keep learning and being curious.
And you heard that, everyone. And these professionals are going to need places to stay, restaurants, entertainment. Why can't we get this going?
Yeah. Because if we're attracting new talent, they're going to need continued education too. So just thinking about that could be a good benefit.
Absolutely. Patrick, what's one business that's currently not here that we may have had in this community but it left, or something that you might go to like Cincinnati or Indianapolis that is your favorite store?
Okay.
What would you like to see here that's not here?
Well, this goes back to food again because we like food.
Yeah, right.
And I'd have to say a Mediterranean restaurant. I don't know if you've been to Mediterranean, getting like some like falafel or some like shawarma. That would be amazing to get in town. I know we have a lot of restaurants, but there's always room for shawarma.
There we go. An opportunity. Yeah. You're listening. Could you share a memorable moment or experience from your involvement in the community?
Yeah, for sure. So I've had a long history of working with Drug-Free Wayne County Partnership. And I'll give some history on what that is. It's an organization that is the local coordinating council for Wayne County. Okay. And every county in Indiana has the local coordinating council. And it's this great group of people who can come together and they can help distribute funds that are provided to the group from the police departments. And these funds are collected through countermeasurement fees or arrest fees that are associated with certain substance use offenses.
Okay.
And we can redistribute these funds to nonprofits to help in the world of policing, education, and treatment. And looking at finding ways to make an impact on substance misuse locally through these funds, but also through this gathering we have monthly called the Drug-Free Wayne County Partnership Meeting. That was a mouthful. But my most memorable piece of working with that group is I had the opportunity to serve as the interim director quite a few years ago after we received the Drug-Free Communities Grant, which was this really huge grant that we were able to get from, at the time, the CDC and the White House. And what it did was it helped us find local solutions to local problems, where we could engage the youth with finding ways to reduce substance use. We could engage employers, look at policy change. And it was just a great opportunity to build momentum around this idea of we're a community, but we can also help solve these problems we're having. And it's memorable because when we announced we got the grant, there was so much excitement, and the excitement hasn't left yet. We're 5 years down the road. The grant funds ran out because it's a timed grant, but the excitement is still there. The power of that change is still there.
Wow, man, you've had your hands on a lot of things, man. It's pretty inspiring. So there's someone out there, I'm sure, that's sitting back like, man, how can I help? What can I do? I mean, what would you say to that person that just doesn't know where to jump in and go be a part of trying to just be more active in the community to help out organizations? What would you say to them?
Yeah, for sure. So this actually works out because one of the classes I teach at Ivy Tech talks about, finding organizations that align with your values and your beliefs and learning more about them. And that's something you can definitely do here in Wayne County. If there's something that you're passionate about, you can find a group that's also passionate about it. It could be anywhere from historic preservation to LGBTQIA plus rights to looking at even the one that I've always been interested in, haven't had a chance to really dive into it, is cemetery preservation. Right. So people who like clean up like gravestones.
Interesting.
That's it's an activity that can be very it's a good activity, and I don't know. I just think that'd be a cool thing to look at. But what I'm saying is, there's so many associations and so many groups here in Wayne County that you can get behind anything. Yeah. You know, looking at help. If you like the animals, there's Help the Animals. Mm-hmm. If you want to help youth, you could always volunteer with maybe the Boys and Girls Club or Birth to Five, Future Achievers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So if there's something you're passionate about, you can find another group of people here who are there with you.
And I visited your office about a month ago, and I think I asked you this question there, but who is one person or organization that you would like to partner with or collaborate with on a project that you haven't done so yet? Who would it be? And why?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about that for a second.
All right. Well, you probably already worked with everybody, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, who have we not had the opportunity to work with? If you asked me, a month ago, I would have said the universities, but we've been able to work with universities, and our work has taken us to Indiana, Ohio. We've supported initiatives down in Florida and New Mexico. So I welcome all partnerships, I guess is what I would say. So I can't pinpoint one because I'm always happy to have that conversation. And I don't think I super touched on exactly what we do at Mezzo. If I could.
Absolutely.
So the core services that we provide at Mezzo Solutions is focused on helping the helpers. So one of the main things that we work on is providing in-person or virtual education to the helping professionals around that model or show up to help. Or we can teach them about things like self-care, mindfulness, person-first language, looking at stress management, understanding community trauma, what that looks like. Or we can provide workshops to organizations by coming in or having them come to us and providing that. And we do those a lot. So we're always looking to do more. So if anyone's interested in those, we can always get that scheduled for you.
Am I allowed to do this put you on the spot? Yeah. Can you share a stress relief tip that for us maybe? I mean, is that appropriate?
Yeah, I could totally do that.
So you're having a bad day at work or just what would you recommend to someone?
All right. So everyone's different. So I'd start with that. Okay. So it's tough to kind of pinpoint what exactly you could do. And typically, what makes you feel good, right? Mm-hmm. What could be healthy and what could be unhealthy for you when it comes to feeling good. If you're mobile, taking a walk is always a great way to get some physical activity, clear your mind, get your muscles moving, kind of shake it out for sure. Mm-hmm. If you're not so mobile, we always encourage journaling. So journaling is a great way to sit down and reflect.
I just started doing that.
All right.
I'm not being consistent with it, but it's on my mind to do.
It's tough. Yeah. We encourage everyone to try to journal at least once a day. Yeah. Right. And it's tough to put in our schedule. But once you get used to it and once you get in the routine, it helps to kind of dump those thoughts in your journal and kind of process and think about, where have I been today? What do I want to do tomorrow? Yeah. And help you really reflect on that.
My iPhone did an update and it's got a new app on there from Apple called Journal.
Okay.
And
yeah.
It's really sweet. You should check it out.
Yeah. We were doing a workshop with the, Indiana Recovery Network, which is a group from Mental Health America. Okay. And they were telling us that all their iPhones got that new that journal.
I love it. I was getting in a groove with it, but yeah, I see the impact of it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So thinking about our community, if you can give our community a letter grade on a report card, A through F.
Okay.
What would that letter be and why?
Ooh, okay. I mean, I would say a B for sure. Right. We have a lot of supports for people. We have a lot of opportunity, but we could always do better. There's always opportunity to do more.
Okay, I agree. Very fair response. We'll just wrap it up here. Is there anyone or any organization out there that you'd like to give a shout out to for supporting you, or anyone on your staff? Anyone you want to give a shout out to today?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to give a shout out to my wife and co-founder Megan. Megan's been a great support. She's the mind of all the mental health education that we really create. But also our contract therapist Amanda Gurton, who joined us quite a few months ago. She's been making a lot of ground and a lot of connections, and she actually had her first community event this past weekend. Couples and Cupcakes, where she brought couples together to help them just learn about relationships, but also have a pretty intense cupcake decorating contest.
That sounds very fun too. Yeah. That's awesome, man. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I hope to have you and your wife back next time. Yeah. And maybe we can share some best tips for dealing with stress management, things like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I look forward to continue to grow and much success. Thank you, my friend.
Right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.